Fun, 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 fun. I've just been having so much fun today because that's the life of a geek. All those people out there that think they're so passionate about technology. Once they get into technology, every day will be like it's carnival. I'm here to tell you, yeah, that's crappy. That's not how it works. Do you want to know what my job is? Do you want to know what my actual job is? Because there's a lot of people out there. They're like, I want to be Eli the computer guy. And I just giggle. Because are you sure? Are you sure? This is what I've been working on this afternoon. So this is the self-paced Python class that's going to be on Wix. So as I've been talking about, I love Wix. I love Wix. Again, a lot of people get snarky. They think that I'm just snarky about everything. That is incorrect. I'm only snarky about stupid crap. Impressive things I'm impressed with. Eli, you're not impressed by very much. Yeah, well, that says more about very much than it does about me. But anyways, again, I love Wix. I love Wix. And basically, they've got a lot of components in there. One of them is they have an e-education component. So you can create entire curriculums, self-paced curriculums. You can have videos in there. I think you can have quizzes. You can have all kinds of different stuff in there, articles. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating this Python series so you can go through and you can learn exactly what you need to learn if you forgot something. So what is Python? Installing Python on a Mac. Functions, modules in Python. Python shell. And see all of these right here, these are the things that I have to write out. These are each individual, little chapter or article that I have to write out. So if it has ready beside it, it means it's already been written. And then once I write out all of these, then I've got to do a video for all of these. So I got to sit there and front my little stage thing, go, the thing about V and V's is... And, I don't know, 2 weeks from now, hopefully by the beginning of the year, this will be done and everybody can learn Python at their own pace. But like if you go through, what did I just finish? V and V's, right? So again, if I click on this little edit thing, you can see this is what each one of these modules are. This is how you install the VNV on standard. This is how you install it on Ubuntu. This is how you use VNV. This is how you activate VNV. This is how you use pip in VNV. This is how you deactivate VNV. Here's how to create the requirements.txt file. Here's how to pull from the requirements.txt file. Yay! Now repeat that. However many of these things are there. And that's got to be my job for the next 2 weeks. And then what you have to understand is that's my job for the next 2 weeks. But then we go here and we look at drafts. Once I get that done, then we've got a scraping series that's going to come, and then we're going to have a web app series that's going to come, and then we're going to have a JavaScript series that's going to come because I truly hate myself. I hate myself so much right now. We're going to do a JavaScript series, and we might even do Node. Yeah, that's... Fuck. What has happened to me? I used to be a man. Now I'm going to do Node. Anyways, that's how it goes. That is the work. That is the job. I'm so sore right now. I'm sore. I'm tired. I was a pansy today. I'll admit it when I was a pansy. I only ran 12 miles. I know. Don't give me crap. I'm sorry. I'm here in Asheville. If you don't clear 13 miles at a 6-minute mile, you're just crap. But anyways, I ran 12 miles this morning. I was supposed to run 14 miles this morning. So trying to prep for the marathons. So I've knocked out half marathons. I think I've done 5 half marathons. That's 13 point some odd miles. So the goal is to get up to marathons. That's 26 point something miles. Anyways, it's been really cold. It's been really crappy weather here. And so I had planned Mondays to be my long day. So Mondays is where I go long, baby. And so a few weeks ago, I did 10 miles on a Monday. And then like the week after, I did 12 miles on the Monday. And then the next week, I want to do 13 miles. But then weather got all crappy. It got icy, like icy. Again, going out when it's 20 degrees and there's a wind chill on top of it, not so much. So anyways, today I went that out there and I was going to do my 14. I've done 13. I've done 13 how many times now? I did 12 a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do 14. Oh my God, it was 95% humidity. 95% humidity and like cold, but not horribly cold. Like cold enough that you had to have a coat and a hat and all that kind of stuff to run, but not so cold that you don't sweat. Have you ever run in one of those times where it's cold enough that you have to have your cold weather gear on, but it's not so cold that you're not pouring down sweat? So anyways, I was out there doing my 12 miles. And like by the end of it, I was supposed to do a little right. So I do this right and I was going to add on 2 extra miles. And I just couldn't do it. My clothes were just soaked. Just so, like because I've got like I have the hat and the hat was just soaked with water, and my coat, my entire coat was damn near dripping water. Literally, when I pulled my coat off, like down to here was just wet. I was just like running miles in just a sack of water. So I couldn't do it. I failed. I failed. I apologize. Only did 12 today. Sucks. Oh well. Next week we're gonna try to do 14. So next week it's supposed to be cold in the morning, like good cold. So that was the thing. Like when I started running, it was like 45 degrees. So again, cold. Hopefully next week it's supposed to be cold. It's like 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is nice with a run because you go out there and it's like cold, but as long as you have clothes on, coat on, you warm up. But then even when you warm up, you're not pouring down the sweat, right? Nice like 35-degree run. I think that's going to be lovely. So anyways, I'm a little tired right now. I'm a little sore. That's kind of hurt. I just kind of hurt. But anyways, that's what's going on in my life. That's my hobby. Eli, what are your hobbies? I go out and I put my AirPods in and I start running. And I don't stop for like 2 hours. That's my hobby. I love running as a hobby though. I gotta say this. Because again, like I don't know, I've done a lot of stuff in life. Again, travel the world. I read. Like I don't know, you get to like a certain age or I don't really want a hobby that takes a lot of brain power. Because again, like this is what I'm doing during the day. This is my job. Like literally, how do you spell out? Not use VNV. Who the fuck cares? VNV is easy, but how do you spell out using VNV? Anyways, and so I was thinking, like at night, I don't really want to have to use my brain for a lot of stuff. Like so many people out there, there's all these hobbies. There's some really complicated hobbies out there. There are hobbies out there that are like jobs. I don't want a hobby job. I got a job. Anyways, so that's what I like about running as a hobby is you just put the AirPods in and you start your music and you start your timer and then you just start running. And then you literally all you have to do is not stop until you hit your goal. It's so easy. There's no math. You're not like running and there's like trigonometry going on in front of your eyeballs or anything. You just start running and then just don't stop. Like literally, that's the only thing you have to say to yourself is don't stop, jiggy, don't stop. Just repeat that for about 2 hours. It's quite a nice hobby. And then people are impressed with it too. That's the other great thing about it. People are like, wow, you mean you didn't stop for 2 hours? Like, yeah, I just did this thing and it didn't stop for 2 hours. People are like, wow, I'm not sure I could not stop for 2 hours. I know. I'm like, yeah. So anyways, running is the hobby. So hopefully we'll get up the whole marathon. 26 miles. Go out there. I'm slow as hell though. I'm like, I'm 10-minute mile. Like, yeah, at my 10-minute miles. I don't know. On the half marathon, last half marathon I did, I was like at 10-minute miles. So, half marathon's about 10-minute miles. Marathon, probably not. So I got to go out there. So yeah, half marathon takes me like 2 hours and 20 minutes to do 13 plus what point something miles. So yeah, a full marathon would literally be about 5 hours of not stopping, of not stopping. We'll get there. We'll get there. Someday I will be able to not stop for 5 hours. And people are like, wow. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, some things to be thinking about the real world. Because, yeah, that's the whole thing with like running. Again, people are impressed with running. They're like, wow. And it's like, yeah. And then when you really think about it, what did you do? You just didn't stop for a couple hours. Anyways. Again, I'm a little out of it. I've had lots and lots of Gatorade today. Still need to have some more. So the point of today, 11 minutes into the show, but, talking about the other stuff, it is relevant, is the whole question of, do you want the job? Again, thank God I don't have to deal with employees anymore. Have I told you how I feel about employees? I think that's one of the funny things in life, especially like when you're an employer, when you're a boss, is you'll get so many people that are motivated. They are gonna love technology. They love technology, and they can tell you all these stupid facts and these stupid figures, and they do their own CSS and all this other crap. And you're like, why do you want this job? And they say, because I'm passionate about technology. Never hire that dumbass. Don't hire that person. Don't hire that person. Anyways, and then they go to do the job, and then the job's kind of lame. Because wait for it, the actual jobs are always kind of lame, no matter how cool they may seem within the frame, right? Because that's the thing. Like, you go out there and you're like some, I don't know, back in the day it was MCSE or whatever. Anyways, you're some expert or whatever. But the reality is you're getting hired by a company to do a task, and then they're going to want that task done. And that's basically all you're going to do for 8 hours a day. If you're running around putting out fires, you better either be working for a startup company that's giving you a crap ton of equity but has no other financing, or you're screwed. You're screwed. There's no, right? If you're working for a real corporation, you're running around putting out fires all day, that means your management sucks. Your management sucks. You're not necessarily really going to get laid off. Your entire company is just going to stop functioning one day, and you're no longer going to have a job, right? But that's the thing, right? Jobs are rather rote, boring things that you do, right? There is your profession, right? So I'm a professional. As a professional, right? I've forgotten a lot of crap. So much crap, right? As a technology professional, it's been doing this stuff almost 30 years. 1996 is when I started. We're about to go into 2025. So like 29 years at this point, right? In the beginning, I learned how to fix beige and brown and vaguely green boxes. Yay. And then I got my MCSE and NT 4.0 as a professional, and Avaya systems, if you know what the hell those were, as a professional, digital surveillance systems and websites and all kinds of crap. So basically, like, as a professional, I know all of these things. That's what makes me a professional. But here's the thing, your job doesn't necessarily need that. Right? Your job doesn't necessarily need you to know how to turn an LED on with a Raspberry Pi. They don't necessarily need you to be able to process natural language with an LLM. They don't necessarily need you to know SQLite or Postgres or whatever else, right? They're going to need you to do a specific job. So as a professional, you might look at me as a professional and go, wow, I want to be the kind of professional that Eli is. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's the professional that I am. That's not my job. And then the other thing to be thinking about is career, right? So you have the profession, and then you have your career. So in my career, I fixed weird colored boxes, and I was a 24-year-old running all over the country putting out fires. Don't do it. And I worked at another corporation doing a whole campus migration thing. And I was a consultant, putting out my own fires. And I had my own company that also had fires. Again, I can say it from both angles. You don't want fires. Anyways, and I've been a YouTuber, and I've done, right? And so this is my entire career. And again, you may look at that, and it might be like, wow, I want a career like that. Yeah, but the career is also not the job. These are all the jobs I've had. When you bundle them together, that becomes a career. A career sounds sexy and amazing and exciting. But again, do you want the job? And so the job, when you're thinking about it, is not the profession, right? You use your professional skills at your job. It's not the career. This job will be one component of your lifelong career, but the job is the job. And it should be rather simple, and it should be rather kind of boring. And you should basically be understanding what you're going to be doing tomorrow, and you're going to iterate again and again and again and again. And the question is do you want that job? And I think about this right now, again, my lived experience. One of the reasons I'm doing these is to talk about, again, as we expand Silicon Dojo, we expand the fever dream into whatever it'll be, right? So, that's one of the things I've been thinking about, right? So try to do the in-person classes here in Asheville, and they haven't worked out very well, just all the way around. Anyways, we followed along the story. I'm not going to go into the story. So after the biblical flood had here in Asheville, North Carolina, we evacuated up to the Raleigh, Durham area for a little while, Research Triangle, and I absolutely love that area. I love the people up there. I love the corporations up there. It's a little too flat and way too much traffic. Holy hell, I forgot about rush hour. I was meeting a buddy of mine up there, and I was like, yeah, I'll just meet you, whatever. And when I did like the Google Map or whatever, it said like 10 minutes. So I was like, yeah, again, I've been living in Asheville for like 4 years. So you tell me 10 minutes, it's going to be about 10 minutes, right? Oh, maybe it's 11 minutes or 12 minutes if it's rush hour. But yeah, right. Holy crap. I went to leave American Underground to go meet the guy. And yeah, 40 minutes later. It's like, what? Google said it was 10 minutes. And Google's like, it was 10 minutes at 2:30 in the afternoon. You decided to drive at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not Google's fault. But anyways, right? But it's cool. It's cool. You go up there, and again, I have to say, the Research Triangle area, they are the nicest, most open, most inclusive technology professionals I've ever met in my life. I don't know what the hell they put in the water. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, it's there. Plus, they've got large corporations. They got the IBM. They got Red Hat. And Google's there. There's Apple's putting $1 billion facility in. Plus all the other kind of stuff that's there. Again, when I go up there, people know who the hell I am. And I went to an AI meetup there. So I went up there last week before, just to do some more poking around. I went to this AI meetup, and it was like AI workflows. So it was an AI meetup at the IBM campus on AI workflows. So we're not talking about ChatGPT, right? We're not talking about stable or whatever. We're talking about how do you take an input and put it to an LLM and run it through another LLM for testing, and like literally, I only understood half the words. I only understood like half the words these people were saying. I'm like, what? Anyways, might have had to do with the crappy projector. I've talked about crappy projectors. Literally IBM campus, and you're like, can we get a better projector? Anyway, but here's the thing, right? AI workflow. They had it was like 310 people signed up for this meetup, and well over 200 people showed up for an AI workflow meetup in North Kakalaki. Right, that's my kind of audience. So, anyways, right. So I went to this place called American Underground. So it's a great co-working facility in Durham. I was talking to those people there for $200 a month. So for $200 a month there, you get the co-working. So you get a flex desk, which honestly, I've got to say their flex desks look better than their fixed desks. But anyways, $200 for a flex desk. And then with that, you get media rooms. So media rooms, classrooms, whatever they have. Plus you can allow people from the outside world. So they give you a key code so your people can come in. They have a classroom that supports up to 40 people. 40 people. Right. And so that's one of the things I've been thinking. I was like, wow. Right? Durham, Research Triangle, Durham area. They have people that actually care about tech. They have companies that actually care about tech. You have American Underground, that again for $200 will allow me. That gives me all the resources that I need, and I've been really excited about that. But the thing is, right, that's the idea. But do I want the job? Do I want the job? And so part of the job is going to be like if I start teaching classes in Durham, that means I've got to drive 3.5 hours if there's no rush hour. Thankfully, where I'm at, there shouldn't be a lot of rush hour because coming from Asheville to Durham, it's a pretty clear shot. But anyways, 3.5 hours if there isn't any rush hour. And so 3.5 hours is an amount that I can't do in a day. Like Charlotte is 2 hours away, about 2 hours away from us. So theoretically, it would be a god awful day. I wouldn't want to do it very often, but I could do a day. I could drive to Charlotte, do something, and come back. It would suck, but it's possible. 3.5 hours, that's just not even possible. So if I go there, not only am I going to spend $200 for American Underground, but then I'm going to have a hotel room for at least a night, which is going to cost money. And so then you start going, well, it's 3.5 hours one way, so that's going to be 7 hours of driving. Not only is it going to be 7 hours of driving plus the class, but if you're there, then you're there. So then you're going to be, again, basically living in a hotel, paying the money for the hotel, eating out, that kind of food. And one of the big questions then becomes is like, well, if I was planning to do this, once a month, right? That becomes, if I do a 2-day class there, right? I come up the day before, I teach a class, and then, these classes are hard on the brain. So then I come back, right? So that starts turning into like 3.5 to 4 days being away from home, on top of the costs and everything else. And again, going to hotels, you get to a certain age. I remember when I was young, it was funny. I was young and, we had the corporation I worked at, they had a temporary manager that they sent up to Massachusetts. And the temporary manager ended up being a long-term temporary manager. And again, he was probably like my age. He was probably right around 50. So I was like 24 and he was like 50. And so he was just bitching and complaining. We were staying at Holiday Inns. He's like, fuck, I just want to go home. I'm like 24 year old. Like, what do you mean? It's great. They pay for you to travel. And then he just looked at me the way I look at you people. I was like, fuck, I can't deal with these kids anymore. Anyways, and again, there gets to be a certain, like when you're young and you're flying all over the place, that's a perk. You mean I get to travel? Yeah. And again, you get to a certain point, you're like, I kind of like my coffee in the morning and my chihuahua on the lap and read my little book on whatever the hell I'm reading. I really just like to wake up in the morning with a chihuahua and a cup of coffee and my book, and then sip that, and then think about running, and then go out there and run, and then come home. Anyways, that's just kind of nice. Bedtime tea with the wife at the end of the day. That is actually a rather enjoyable way of doing things. And it's like, am I going to give that up for 4 days a month or whatever for that? Is that the job that I want? And what if it takes off? What if people really like it? Would I do that twice a month? Oh. Now all of a sudden, that's not 4 days a month. That's like 8 days a month. Yeah. And again, it's nice enough. I do like, I like the area from a conceptual standpoint, but I don't really like the area that much because that's what some people ask. Like, well, why don't you move to Durham or Research Triangle? I'm like, that's not going to happen. I said I like it. Calm down. Don't like the traffic. Don't like the flatness. It's so flat. Like when you live in the mountains, you got mountains. You go there, it's just like flat. Like, this is weird. You can see everything. That doesn't make any sense. That's one of the things that I'm pondering. And so as weird as it may sound, it actually comes out, it actually seems to turn out that I would prefer a job where I sit here for 2 weeks, plugging along, essentially creating blanks, filling said blanks in, and then doing videos about said blanks. That job is preferable to me than bouncing all over the country. And it's one of those things to ponder. It's one of those things to think about with whatever it is that you're doing. Like, that's one of the arguments my wife and I still have every once in a while is Twitter. Twitter wanted to contract with me years ago for good money, for a lot of money. I might understand why they had issues with their budgeting. Anyways, and I said no. I said no because they wanted for their sales teams. One of the problems is their sales teams didn't actually understand technology. So especially when cloud technology was a newer concept. Again, the difference between public and private. What's the difference between AWS and Linode or DigitalOcean or whatever? And so they wanted to pay me. They wanted to pay me to fly out to literally teach classes to their sales departments. What the hell these technologies even were. And it was supposed to be like a running gig. So I go out as long as San Francisco went well. Then they sent me. I guess they had Ireland. They had all these offices all over the world that they'd send me to at a very nice pay rate, very nice pay rate. And I said no, and I said no, and yeah, it's. My wife still hasn't forgotten it. My wife still brings it up every once in a while. What I keep trying to explain to her is that the job would have sucked. It was good pay. It was good pay. But again, I can hop in the plane, get off the plane, an entirely different time zone. You gotta be doing these classes or whatever else. And you gotta smile. You gotta smile. You gotta smile through the not feeling very good. Hey. You teach the salespeople, then you go back to a hotel room. You do that for however long you're there for that contract. Then you hop on a plane, then you go to somewhere else. And you hop on a plane, then you go to somewhere else. And you hop on a plane, and then you go somewhere else. And all of a sudden, again, at a certain point, at a certain age, you start questioning the value of that type of job. And again, whether or not you actually want that job. And so it's just something for you to be thinking about with whatever you're doing, when you're going out there as a professional and you're looking at a job or whatever. You're so excited to get the job. That's what always sucked with new employees. They're so excited to get hired. So excited to get hired. Not very excited to do work. Not very excited to do the thing that I was paying them for, but very excited to get hired, right? And it's almost like this dog, like you put this thing in front of somebody's eyes, like it's a prize. It's a prize. Like getting the job is the prize. And all of a sudden, one of the problems that happens in the human brain is as soon as you make something a game, you gamify it, then they really want to win. They want to win. They don't want the job. They want to win. They don't want the job. They want to win, right? And so like, wow, I want to win, right? And getting hired is winning. I won. Do you want to do the work? No. Why the fuck did you apply then? But anyways, that's an issue that you have in the real world. Yeah, people are so passionate about technology or whatever, but they don't want to sit down and do the grind of whatever that particular job is. Right? And I think that's important to think about, like with the things that I do, right? Because I look like I have a cool job. And I do. I mean, whatever. I snark about a lot of stuff. But, like I look like I have a cool job. Like I play with fucking robots, dude. I create AI-powered robots on an afternoon just to see how things work. Right? That's what I was doing yesterday, Sunday. I was at a little hackathon thing, and I was using a Raspberry Pi 5 with Olama and a local LLM in order to do some AI type stuff. Like, wow. But the point that I tried, I mean, that's cool. That's cool, right? There's some cool shit about what I do, right? Yes, I get to play with AI. I get to go to conferences and people fangirl out, right? And those are cool components about what I do. But to say that's 10% of my job is overselling it. That's overselling it. 5%? probably sub 5%. Like I don't want to go too far under 5% because that's probably underselling it too. But it's somewhere around 5% is playing with really cool technologies and having people fangirl out when they meet me. 95% of my job is paperwork. So is that actually what you want? Is that actually what you want? Do you want the job or do you want to win being hired? That was the other thing when I had employees. Like I tell them what their salary was. I tell them what their salary. Then they like working for me for like a couple weeks. I'm like, Eli, I don't make enough money. I'm like, what? I literally specified the salary before you even interviewed for the job. It's been 2 weeks. I'm not sure how you think our pay scale works. It's gonna be a while longer, Bucko. That is one of the painful things. Oh my God, like having employees and like, I don't make enough money. And like, why did you take the job? I told you what the job was. I told you how much I was paying you. I don't know what, there's no more much money coming in. I got 9 other you motherfuckers. Like, anyways, that's not a job I want to deal with. You know what job I also don't want to have? I don't want the job of dealing with other people with jobs. That sucks. So, anyways, there you go. Something to ponder and something to think about. Because when you go out there and when you do your job, basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be having a set of tasks. Again, you're going to have a certain amount of flexibility with the tasks, right? If you're inputting information into a system, you have no flexibility. Put in the AirPods and just do the work. Don't stop for 8 hours, right? But again, if you're a marketing person or a salesperson, or again, somebody like an educator, you do have some flexibility. You have some wiggle room, but not that much, right? If you're a marketing professional, right, you're going to have to sit down with a client. And so what is your job going to be? You're going to be sitting down with clients. You're going to be getting at what their requirements are, what their budget, all of that kind of stuff is. Then you're going to be going back and you're going to document all of that. And then you're going to come up with a plan. And then you're going to go back to the customer and then you're going to sell the plan. And if they buy into the plan, then you're going to go out and you're going to buy the content or whatever, posters or ads or whatever. You're going to make sure that it has a coherent brand strategy and that kind of thing. And then you're going to go back to the client to get the checkoffs or to change things or whatever else. Then you're going to get final approval. And that stuff is then going to get shipped off to wherever the hell it's going to get published, right? If you look at like a marketing professional on the outside, it's like, wow, look at what they're doing. But if you really look at what they're doing, again, they're doing a job. Meet with client, get requirements, create a plan, get a sign off on the plan, get the content created, get the sign off on the content, get the content shipped, get a new client. And so what you're going to be doing in your job is you're basically going to be iterating on a certain number of tasks, day in, day out, till you quit or get fired or promoted, right? And so one of the questions you got to ask yourself is, again, it's not about doing it once. It's not about doing it for a day. It's not about doing it for 5 days. It's not even about doing it for a month. Is this something that you can sit and you can iterate through for the next year or two? And that is a big question to ask, right? If you hate people, if you truly hate people, and half of your job is customer facing, do you want the job, right? If you love people, if you need to be around people, but 99% of your job is sitting in a server room, do you want that job? I'm passionate about technology. I want you to understand how little value that statement actually has. That is the core requirement that you need for the motivation to learn the skills that are required to do jobs. But it doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with the jobs themselves. And these are things to ponder. These are things to think about. So anyways, that's about all I got to say for today. I have a headache. Hope I'm not getting sick. Hope I'm not getting sick. After I do my 12-mile run, then I get sick. That would be how my Christmas season would go. I'd be like, oh well, it's looking a lot like Christmas, my time of year. So, anyways, some things to ponder. So hopefully this Python series, again, I want it to be out in the beginning of January. I'm pushing it. So hopefully that'll be out. And then like all these other things I've been teaching, again, like Bottle and like Open AI, because that's one of the things that I've realized. And again, one of the important things with doing is when you do things, you find out where you fail. Right? Like when everything's an idea, when you're I'm an idea person, right? When you're an idea person, when it's all ideas, you don't really see where the failure is. And again, that's one of the things that I've seen with the failure of Silicon Dojo at this point, is that if you miss out on a class, you kind of missed out on the class. Like, even though we have the video classes on YouTube and we have the material on YouTube, like there's an interactive class with Zoom. But when you're just watching the video, are you getting what you need to get? And even the Zoom classes, is that the most effective for certain things, right? So if you forgot about VNV, or I didn't teach VNV, I think I might not have taught VNV yet, right? Wouldn't it be nice to just be able to go to a place and just click, and again, you've got 500 words on it, and you got like a 5-minute video explaining it, rather than try to surf through and Eli, the computer guy's entire YouTube channel. That's one of the problems that I've seen, again, with Silicon Dojo that we're trying to solve for. So anyways, we're gonna have lots of stuff. So all these series that I'm doing, we're gonna turn them into self-paced, and we're gonna keep doing the Zoom classes. The Zoom classes are staying. The Zoom classes are staying. Those are good. Those don't require a lot of resources. It's just right over there. All I have to do is go right over. That's my studio. That's my studio right there. Just have to go over there and do the Zoom classes. So the Zoom classes are staying. I like that as part of my job. Trying to figure out the rest of it though. So anyways, something to ponder, something to think about. So with that, I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee and try to wake up. See y'all later.